It's almost like they don't want people to take them seriously. It's almost like they want to put their own credibility in the toilet. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Sharma Show. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. So you remember when the Pulitzer Prize used to mean something? Like it used to be given out for journalistic excellence. But now it just looks like they'll give out a Pulitzer Prize for anything. I mean, I feel like I should send in my name for their consideration for a Pulitzer Prize. Brave journalist Sham Sharma makes brave videos in his apartment in his shorts and his stupid hat. Hey, for your consideration. So what's happened is that the Pulitzer Prize Committee has recently announced that it's given its commentary award to Nikole Hannah-Jones, who was one of the writers on the New York Times series 1619 Project. The New York Times reported that the award was given for her essay that served as the leading piece in the 1619 Project, a series centered on reframing the United States history by focusing on consequences of slavery and the contributions of Black Americans. So Hannah-Jones in her series has made some very interesting claims, let's say. She says that anti-Black racism runs within the DNA of America and that only Black Americans fought to make America a democracy. And so now a group of very prestigious historians has pushed back against these claims made by Hannah-Jones and the 1619 Project, saying that these claims are completely inauthentic. One of the historians is City University of New York's James Oakes, a leading historian of the American Revolution and the American Civil War. He said that these claims are not only ahistorical, that they're actually anti-historical. And the problem with these tropes that are being forwarded by the 1619 Project is that these tropes actually deny change over time. So what they're trying to say is that the same level of racism that existed in the 1700s in America exists today. Another historian, Pulitzer Prize winning author James McPherson, and he is widely regarded as an authority on the Civil War, he stated that he was very disturbed by what seemed like a very unbalanced, one-sided account which lacked context and perspective on the complexity of slavery, which was clearly, obviously not an exclusively American institution, but existed throughout history. He also added that the idea that racism is a permanent condition, that's just not true. And it also doesn't account for the countervailing tendencies in American history as well, because opposition to slavery and opposition to racism has also been an important theme in American history. And that's true, just like the fight against caste discrimination in India would have been a lot harder than it already is if there was not support against caste discrimination within non-scheduled caste and scheduled tribe communities as well. Another claim made by Hannah Nikole Jones was that the reason that the Americans fought the Revolutionary War, which is the War of Independence from the British, was so they would be able to keep their slaves. McPherson again says that from the Quakers in the 18th century on through the abolitionists in the antebellum to the radical Republicans in the Civil War and Reconstruction to the NAACP, which was an interracial organization founded in 1909, down through the civil rights movement in the 1950s and the 1960s, there have been a lot of whites who have fought against slavery and racial discrimination and against racism as well. He said anti-slavery ideology was a very new thing in the world in the 18th century. There was more anti-slavery activity in the colonies than in Britain. Hannah-Jones also made a claim that Lincoln was just a straight-out racist and he didn't care about the Black people as well, and he only used the Emancipation Proclamation that ended up freeing the Blacks as a political tool. Historian Alan Guelzo pointed out that Lincoln called for Black voting rights and was hailed by Frederick Douglass, who was a hero for Black civil rights, as emphatically the colored man's president. Oakes said, where in Nikole Hannah-Jones's reading of Lincoln and in her wider perspective is the voice of the greatest of all African Americans, Frederick Douglass. He doesn't even appear. Douglass was not uncritical of Lincoln. He famously said that the black race were only Lincoln's stepchildren, but he also came to appreciate Lincoln as a white man who put him at his ease, treating him as an equal with no thought of the color of our skins, and showing that he could conceive of a society in which blacks and whites lived together in a degree of harmony. And what's interesting is while writing this 1619 Project, the New York Times did not consult any of these historians which are considered to be authorities on the Civil War and on the Revolutionary War. Really shady. So that's obviously really shady. And a very similar thing happened with the Pulitzer Prize that was given to an Indian journalist as well. So 3 photographers from Jammu and Kashmir won the Pulitzer Prize for feature photography. And The citation that the Pulitzer Prize Committee gave said, for striking images of life in the contested territory of Kashmir as India revoked its independence, executed through a communications blackout. Really, man? Revoked its independence?
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
When the hell was Kashmir an independent country? Kashmir acceded to India legally in 1947. Article 370, which was granted to Kashmir by the then Prime Minister Nehru, was supposed to be a temporary measure, which was accepted by Nehru himself. Secondly, the whole concept of Article 370 went against the concept of the Indian Republic, went against the concept of one nation, one constitution. On top of that, Article 370 was taking away key rights from the LGBTQ people, from non-Muslims, from scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, from the Shias in Ladakh, and even the Sunni Muslim women of Kashmir. So removing Article 370 was also restoring basic fundamental rights to all of these people in Kashmir. Thirdly, here's an account of this situation, of this whole lockdown, from a Kashmiri himself, Sual Hakim. He has posted a series of tweets that describe the situation in Kashmir during this lockdown. He said that terrorists were enforcing this lockdown to show a false picture of a Kashmir blockade to the world. They fired at and killed people who left their homes. Terrorists hurled petrol bombs at schools to burn down the establishment to dissuade parents from sending their children to schools. A Kashmiri Muslim truck driver was killed by terrorists. Terrorists also shot and killed a shop owner in his own shop. So they were actively targeting people who were trying to reopen businesses and who were trying to go to work in Kashmir to paint this whole picture of a blockade. Terrorists were also threatening local shopkeepers and telling them not to open shops. Terror groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Hizbul Mujahideen also put up posters in different parts of the valley, issuing threats and trying to instigate local residents. So what's very interesting that the Pulitzer Prize Committee didn't even try to find out the other side of the story before writing this crap in their citation. Seriously, an organization that rewards outstanding journalism couldn't even do this basic fact check to find out the other side of the story. It's just a shame that every major liberal institution in the world right now is hell-bent on destroying its credibility, because it really wouldn't take a lot to find out the other side of the story. But remember, a great Indian poet, Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, who hails from my home state of Bihar, he said, "Jab nash manuj par aata hai, pehle vivek mar jata hai," which means that when one's destruction draws near, the first thing that a man loses is his good sense, his sense of right and wrong. And that's what we're seeing with liberal institutions like Pulitzer, like the Ramon Magsaysay Award, like the Booker Prize, various liberal media, various liberal colleges, and various liberal commentators. People's trust in media and in these institutions is falling drastically and is at an all-time low right now. And promoting dangerous lies like the ones the Pulitzer Prizes promote by giving their prizes to these people is only going to make this situation worse for them. And I want to ask you, do you think that the Pulitzer Prize Committee giving their awards to these people and these journalists hurts their credibility? Do you agree with me or do you not? Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Once again, guys, if you liked today's episode, make sure to leave a like, leave a thumbs up. It helps me out a great deal. It helps the channel out a great deal. Make sure to comment as well. And if you like this episode, if you like the Sham Sharma Show and you'd like to support the Sham Sharma Show, make sure to press the link in the description down below. Become a patron of the show as well. A lot of the patrons have started to receive their mugs, so I've asked them to send their pictures. Once the pictures are here, I'll start showing them to you as well. So if you want those mugs, make sure to become a patron by clicking the link down below as well. You will get access to the WhatsApp and Discord servers of the Sham Sharma Show as well. Also, if you like the Sham Sharma Show, if you like this episode, if you would like to support the Sham Sharma Show, and if you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing? There's the button right there, man. Just click on it. Just click on it. Just subscribe. Press the bell icon as well. And check out our episode here and our episode here that I'm sure you'll enjoy as well. I will see you for the next episode. And until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys soon.